The question as to why Socrates chose to die is a really important one. It teaches us a lot about Socrates himself and also a lot about the philosophies of Plato. These two men were very closely linked. Plato is the student of Socrates, and Plato is the one that recorded all of the dialogues that we know about Socrates. But in order to answer this question, we need to kind of go back in time and we need to understand what Socrates was all about. Now, Socrates, in the dialogue Apology, which is where you learn a lot about his trial. It's where he's talking to his accusers, and it's where he gets his death sentence. So in Apology, he tells the story of someone goes to an oracle in Greece, and they say, "Who's the wisest man?" And the oracle says, "Socrates." So this guy goes back to Socrates and says, "Socrates, the gods say you're the wisest man on earth." And Socrates says, "That's impossible. So I'm going to go around the world and I'm going to find wiser people so I can go to the god and say, here, look, this person is wiser than me." So he goes and does this. And as he does this, he realizes that there really is no one wiser than him. Not that they know more than him, but that they are not concerned with truth. They're only concerned with how they look in front of people. So Socrates goes in this quest, and he realizes that this is a quest from God. So he's doing this out of obedience to the gods. So when he's accused, he basically tells his accusers this quest. And he says that it's better that I die doing what I'm supposed to do than that I live and I abdicate my responsibilities. Now, he gives a lot of other reasons as to why he decided to die in the Apology, and also in the next dialogue, which is him and his friends talking as he's about to die, and that's the Phaedo. That's the dialogue you should look into. Both these dialogues are very short. You can read them in one sitting. In between these two dialogues, though, is a short, tiny little dialogue called Credo. And in Credo, a guy comes up to Socrates, one of his friends, and says, "Hey, I've arranged for your escape. You can get out of here anytime you want." He paid off the guards. He got a ship taking him out of Athens, etc., etc. So Socrates says to Credo, "Well, no, I'm not going to go because it's better for me to suffer injustice than to commit injustice." So Socrates is all about justice and virtue, and he believes that even though he was unjustly accused, the law of Athens is telling him that he is sentenced to death. So if he were to run away, then he would be essentially being unjust. So he's saying he'd rather suffer the injustice of being accused than he would commit injustice. So these are two particular reasons why he decided to die. Also, it's important to note that he was very old, and at least over 70, as we learn from these dialogues, and that he probably would have fared the same way in any other place because people were all mad at him because he made them sound stupid. So no matter where Socrates goes, he's going to find this same problem of his philosophies and his love of truth over the love of looking good make other people look really bad. So that's actually why he got accused in the first place. He upset the wrong people. Actually, he upset pretty much everybody by saying that you're not wise at all. You just pretend to be wise. So he upset some of the wrong people, and they accused him and sentenced him to death. So the reason that he chose death is based on his principles, based on his philosophies. So when you look into the man of Socrates and what he was like and the history of what he did, you learn a lot about what he believed. And it's also very important because you're learning a lot about what Plato believes. One other quick note, Socrates talks a lot about the gods in these dialogues, which are Apology, Credo, and Phaedo, but he also talks a lot about the gods in the Republic. And one thing that he does not believe is that there is the Hades, or death, as the Greeks called it, the Greeks call it Hades, is a really bad place. He didn't believe that good people die and go to a bad place. He believed that the gods are good and that there's good things coming to people who die and are virtuous. So even in death, he believed that there was something better for him awaiting at his death than if he was an unvirtuous person. If he was unrighteous, had he escaped from prison, lived his life another 10 years, whatever, and then died, there would have actually been a worse fate awaiting for him because he would have been unjust. So that's why Socrates chose to die rather than choosing to live.